Hello and welcome to Off the Shelf Reviews. It's Gaming Friday. I'm Gary, and today we're taking a look at Friday the 13th, the game, which came out on the 26th of May 2017. It was published and developed by Gun Media and IllFonic. Now, originally IllFonic used to work on the CryEngine, but they decided that it was time to jump onto the Unreal Engine for Friday the 13th, which originally this game wasn't even going to be Friday the 13th. It was basically Slasher Movie the Game Part 1, and it looked like they were going to do a whole series of, slasher films, but in video game form. But the lead designer got into talks with Cunningham, the creator of the Friday the 13th franchise, and they brokered a deal and got the rights to the film franchise, so that slasher game turned into Friday the 13th. And I was a bit worried. I mean, this was a Kickstarter, which, it soon racked up over $1 million in donations, and I think it sort of ranked, 120 something as one of the highest crowdfunded video games, or crowdfunded anything, to actually come to fruition. Now, this game has a very small development team on it, so it's not a AAA game. And so it comes in at about £30, $30 more in some countries than others, and is a digital download game. Now, when the game came out, I wasn't even aware of it. I knew that the Kickstarter had happened, but that was years ago. And then all of a sudden the game was out. I was like, whoa, the game's been out 2 weeks. How did I miss that? This game had no real advertising. But then I jumped onto the game, purchased the game immediately, and jumped straight onto it, and found myself for the first hour looking at an empty lobby again and again and again. And you soon realise that the quick match function of the game was not working. So you could not play the game. So you spent 30, 40 quid on a game that you can't do anything with. And so, going online, looking to see what the actual problem is. And yeah, they've said that the quick match function is kind of broken. It's not working, and so we advise you to play with friends or to join groups. Now, with this game, it is massively cooperative, and it requires teamwork in order to actually have a chance of surviving the game. And it also requires teamwork and communication in order to actually enjoy the game. I'll get more onto that in a minute. So, right now, the game is very simplistic. It is a cat and mouse game where 7 players are pitted against Jason Voorhees, classic killer from 9 of the 10 Friday the 13th movies. And in order to survive, each one of the counselors will be running around one of 3 maps. There is Packanack, Higgins Lodge, and of course, Crystal Lake. Now, each one of the 3 maps is fine, it's fine enough, but to me it felt like there were always more maps in the game than what I was actually playing on. And that is because the items spawn in different locations every time. There are a few items, like the phone box, which either spawns in one of 2 locations, but then across 3 maps, it starts to add up. Where you'll find your favourite weapons, pocket knives, or anything that will help you survive, they kind of spawn in different places. This flare gun, I usually always find it here though, so there is randomness and there are some items that always appear. So I'll go over some of the items. The walkie-talkie is one of the biggest sort of tools in the game, because what I love about the game, as I said, is the teamwork and the cooperation. Now, with the game supports sort of voice detection, so the closer you are to enemies, the closer you are to your counselors, the louder they'll appear in your headset. And if they go too far away, obviously you won't be able to hear them anymore. With the walkie-talkie, anyone else with a walkie-talkie you'll be able to communicate with and talk to each other across the map. Right now, I don't have a map. So figuring out where anybody else is, I can only guess by looking in the bottom right corner and seeing where those white dots are, or the white arrows that are pointing me towards the other counselors, or the other survivors as we call them. Now, as I'm recording this review, I'm not going to be communicating to my teammates at all, which doesn't help very much. But for the purposes of this recording, the best way with what the best way was to get into games was to using it on Xbox was to looking for group, and often not in there you would find people that would kick other players if they didn't have a microphone, which is totally fine, because you do not want to be in a lobby with nobody communicating and talking. Even if they have headsets and not communicating, it's going to be a boring, sad affair, in which case, you're unlikely to survive unless you're really, really lucky. So, most of the items in this game are to help you survive are melee weapons like the baseball bat. You can get 2x4s, a wrench. A lot of people seem to prefer the wrench. The wrench and the baseball bat are the two go-to weapons. There is the flare gun, which only gets one shot in it, and if you fire it at Jason and miss, likely you'll still mark him on the map for everyone else to see where he is. If you shoot him directly, you're likely to stun him for a period of time, depending on which Jason you're shooting at. There's also a rifle or a shotgun in the game, which again only gets one shot. Usually it's only one that will spawn on the map, and then there is one more which will appear if Tommy Jarvis appears. Now, earlier on you saw me use the radio to call in Tommy Jarvis, and he'll appear once one or mostly two survivors have died. He'll take their place. So it can be up to 8 versus 1, but not 8 at the same time. There is an axe there. There are perks in the game which enables you to get better uses out of different melee weapons. Although the axe is fairly slow, and although it does a lot of damage, it is fairly slow, so you're not going to get Jason's likely to just get in your face and grab you and execute you before you even ever get to swing it. Now, I'm in a bit of a problem here because I don't have a map. The other survivors look like they're dwindling away one by one as Jason hunts them down. So I'm going to try and make my way to civilization or where there's other players and hope to hold out. Now, what you will be doing mainly in this game as a counselor is looking around the map and trying to find, as I said, some of those weapons. You're also going to come across first aid sprays, which I have now, which you usually only get one use out of it. When you take damage, either through jumping through windows or Jason throwing knives at you or swinging whatever weapon he's equipped with at you, you'll take damage and it will slow you down. Walking at this pace when Jason's right behind you is a no-no. He's just going to grab you and kill you. So having a first aid spray, of course, does what it says on the tin. There are firecrackers. Firecrackers is an item which you can throw at the ground and it'll distract Jason and stun him momentarily. It's really useful if you're trying to repair a vehicle or repair a phone box and you need Jason off your trail for at least a few more moments. Hopefully you'd have a few more survivors around. My screen just went VHS static there, which has just told me, along with the music cue, that Jason's really close by. So I'm going to lock these doors. Locking the door will only hold Jason at bay for about 5 to 10 seconds. Again, depending on which Jason he's using. There is Jason from part 2, 3, 6, and 9, I think they are. I've played the game quite a lot, but chances of playing as Jason are very, very slim. Obviously, there's a preference when you first start the game to choose whether you want to spawn more frequently as a counselor or as Jason, or you can sort of leave it in the middle where it is by default. I would suggest to everyone to immediately turn that to spawn preference Jason. Oh, speaking of, was that Jason there? Yeah, it was. So, quick flare. I don't know if you noticed, but that was a terrible shot. It still kind of bounced off him enough for me to distract him, so he's still stunned there. Now he's moving. I'm going to try and escape. He's right behind me. Now, thankfully the door is closed, which means if Jason wants to get to me, he's going to have to walk all the way back around. So you can kind of play cat-and-mousey type games with Jason and climb back in the window. Now he's gone back outside to find me. And this instance, I will now climb out the other window, crouch, and slowly move away. Now, it's all going to depend now whether Jason saw me through that doorway or not, and which way he's going to go. As you can see, my character is suffering right now from what they call Chad face, which is a character in the game who, at the beginning of the game, he always is the one who's most terrified and goes running off. He's kind of like the jock character, who doesn't have very high composure. Now, each one of the counselors is unique in the fact that they have their own name. They all kind of share the same dialogue, really. Just at least there's a male and a female voice actor for them. But why you'd want to choose one counselor over the other, as you can see my fear levels are going through the roof right now, my minimap is gone, and I'm getting pinhole vision. You can fix that by turning on a little flashlight, which really, it helps get rid of the fear levels, but at the same time it can also help Jason locate you a little bit easier. As you can see, when your fear levels go up through the roof as well, your character, when he's suffering from fear, will also stumble and fall and trip over a lot, which means when you're running away, you're likely to fall over, and just like the horror movies, right? So I like that authenticity to it, that the fact that this does feel, every single match in this game, to me, has felt like the last 20 minutes of any good slasher movie, and mainly the Friday the 13th films. I like the amount of Jasons that are in the game. Each one of the Jasons has 4 sort of unique kills, depending on which weapon he has, whether he has sort of the metal pole javelin from I think it's Jason Lives, or the iconic machete, or whether he's got an axe. It sort of, yeah, it changes. So he has 4 different kills for each one, and oh god, he's got me. And I don't have a first aid spray, so I'm going to tap like a fiend to try and break free, and no! And, well, swift as that. One of my favourite executions. I always loved that execution from, I think it's Jason Takes Manhattan, when he's fighting on the roof and he punches the guy's head off, it lands in the bin. Brilliant, brilliant. There are plenty of kills for Jason in the game, which does keep it interesting, and even better, there are loads of environmental kills, which are my all-time favourites. Like, if you manage to grab a counsellor by the fireplace, you can throw that counsellor's head into the fire and then hold your boot on the back of his head and hear his screams as he burns slowly in the fire. You can pick up counsellors and impale them on trees or on coat hooks. There are folding chairs, and all-time classic, if a counsellor is hiding in a sleeping bag, you can grab hold of that sleeping bag and smack them into a nearby tree until they die. You know, just like Jason X. Just brilliant. So, with Jason as well, when you get to play as Jason, I said you always want to choose your preference to play as Jason, because you're really only going to spawn as Jason 1 in maybe 9 games. Really. It's such a small chance, although I have had weird occurrences where my game has crashed or lagged out, and then whilst I have been Jason, either at the ending credits where you're just about to get your XP, it lag out and quit there, or halfway through the match, then going into another random game, and the game will spawn you as Jason again. It's almost like it went, oh well, you were unfairly, didn't get a completion with Jason, you're still owed a game. I don't know whether the game sort of has a hidden system where you sort of build up an amount of time playing as a counselor before it goes, okay, you get to be as Jason next. I'm not really sure, but I have had games where I've been Jason sort of 3 out of 4 or 5 games, which is great. I get to play as Jason. Whether that was because the other players didn't put their spawn preference in, it's hard to say, although most people would like to play as Jason. What I've found though, now that I've sort of reached up to level 40 and nearly level 50, I get a little bit tired of playing as Jason, because I like to play as the counselor and I like to work with the other survivors to get through the night. I like that, the sense of accomplishment when you escape with other survivors. Playing as Jason can and has gotten more difficult, especially if you're up against a team of communicating survivors that are quite adept at the game. You're gonna have a hard time with Jason, because those counselors can group up, work with each other, and in some instances I've grouped up with other survivors, up to 6 of us, all armed with baseball bats and melee weapons, and we've gone out of our way to beat Jason down, because it became evident to us he didn't really know what he was doing. So we went off and found the sweater, which is in Jason's mother's shack, or Jason's shack, which Jason spawns in at the beginning of each match. You can go there, get the sweater, although if you get the sweater, only a female character can do it, it will alert Jason immediately. Mother will tell him that they've come for her. There is a way of getting around that, and that is to beat the holy crap out of Jason until his mask comes off. When his mask comes off, you're going to need to pick up the mask, and then wear the mask as you go into his cabin, in which case Mother will think Jason's come home for some reason. Then you can get that without alerting him. Once you've done that, you will need Tommy Jarvis, who looks like he's about to die horribly, and then you have a chance of defeating Jason. What you'll need to do is use the sweater with a female character close to Jason, and he will become stunned. Then the person with the sweater needs to smack Jason, then Tommy Jarvis needs to finish him with either the machete or the axe, and you can actually kill Jason. Doing that is very difficult. I have had trouble with a whole group of friends playing the game. The person playing Jason was like, look, I give up. You've taken the mask off me. You've got everything. Just do it. Just end it. I can't beat you down. And we still managed to screw it up. Like, it's not easy to pull off. I've only managed to pull it off legitimately once, and that was after I kind of sacrificed myself and managed to spectate it after I was one of the ones trying to beat Jason to take the mask off. So playing as Jason has its pros and its cons, and the more you play as Jason, the better you get at it. My tips for playing as Jason is immediately once you spawn to pick up the knives that are in the shack. You'll need those as throwing knives. If you spawn as a Jason that has more throwing knives than the other, then you may not want them. But I always teleport to the phone box that they use to call the police, which is broken to begin with until they find the fuse to repair it. But I always drop a trap right at that box. Then I'll walk around, maybe smash a few doors and windows or another power generator if it's nearby. Then I make my way to the 4-seater car. Trap the engine, trap the gas, then trap the driver's seat. Depending again on which Jason you are, how many traps you have left, I will go to either the 2-seater car or the boat, which is their other form of escape. No matter where you are on the map, as Jason, if a counselor falls into that trap, now basically they are bear traps that you put on the floor and kind of cover with leaves, they still stand out like a sore thumb if you put them in the middle of a road or in an area where there's not much, leaves on the ground. But most counselors will either be panicked, or if their fear is too high, they won't even see it, they'll run right into it, and Jason, you are alerted immediately wherever you are on the map to they might be at the 4-seater or they might be at the phone fuse, so you might not know which one they've gone to straight away, so you might have to teleport and find out. Now with Jason, he has 4 different abilities. He has a sense ability, which means counselors will sort of glow red on the map. He has, finally, one of the counselors is coming out of hiding. I was going to say, I'm really sorry for those of you spectating and watching the video. I'm dead. These guys are hiding, not doing very much. So Jason has a sensibility, which means counselors glow red. If they're inside a building, the entire building glows red. So it's a lot easier to find you. Now, I think that these people may actually be glitching. I think I've just stumbled across glitches. I think I saw someone trying to glitch on the stairway earlier. He's definitely glitching. And at the moment, just this last week, YouTubers alike, I think there was a YouTuber who had like 300,000 subscribers just got banned for glitching in this game. After this recording, I'm going to report this player for glitching, because what the fuck is the point in glitching this game? The PlayStation has just been patched to fix some of these glitches. The Xbox One version has been behind on all of the patches because of Microsoft's certification system, which is fine because they don't want to release a patch that breaks the game. A patch was released on Steam, which did actually break the game, which caused the developers and Steam to roll back the patch for a repatch. I really must praise the developers for the amount of communication they've been putting out there on Twitter and on Facebook, telling its player base what the current state of the game is, what patches they're working on, and when they're likely to be out. And they've always apologized to the Xbox version for those delays, but they are trying to do their best to make this game work. It's inexcusable to launch a game in such a terrible condition where for the first 2 weeks it was unplayable, where there was glitches, where the quick match didn't work, where there are bugs. It's a real problem. But they are patching it and they are fixing it. Now, even during all of that time, where this game has had all of those problems, this game has still exceeded my fun value and enjoyment in this game, so much so that it is a contender for me for Game of the Year. This game stopped me playing Mass Effect Andromeda You know, it's a completely different type of game. Okay, yeah, it's crashed. I'm believing the host has quit the game because of ridiculousness. So I'm just going to take a small break here, and I'm going to try and find a new lobby. Alright, we're back in the game. I just want to put a bit of trivia here, is that the character that just died right in front of us is actually one of the characters from one of the Friday the 13th games, and wow, it spawned me as Jason. And right now I didn't change my preference to Jason, but I've chosen the retro Jason skin from the original Friday the 13th Nintendo game, which is amazing. I really, really like this skin. So at least now I can show you what I would usually do as Jason. Now, as I can say, I'd go straight to the phone box, leave Mother's cabin, and now I'm looking around for a sparking fuse box, of course, there it is. And in the bottom there you can see that I have 2 knives and 5 traps. So I'm going to put that trap right there. And right now Jason doesn't spawn with all of his abilities straight away. I have the teleport and the sense ability. I'm going to break the windows. As I said, if counselors go through broken windows, they'll take damage. And breaking doors down so that they can't lock them, so that it's easy enough for me to get in there if I need to. So now that that's done, time to teleport to one of the cars. You're not going to know which one of them is the 4-seater, so I've come to the 2-seater car. I'm still going to drop a trap in it anyway, just because, you know, why not? Hopefully that'll still grab whoever tries to put the battery in. It doesn't always need to be dead central. But this door is open. Somebody left it open, and there's a door open, so somebody's been through here. It's a single room. They didn't stay. So now I'm going to use my sensibility, and nothing's highlighted red just yet. It means they have definitely scarpered. Oh, what's that? There's somebody down there. Now, unfortunately, playing as Jason, you don't hear the retro music that should be playing right now. But the counselors sure will. Now they're going running indoors. I'm just going to turn the lights off to scare them. So their composure testing will be going on now, and you can see that they're making noise and panicking and pinging little sonar circles everywhere. So I'm going to start hunting them down. I've only managed to kill all the counselors in a match, including a respawn Tommy Jarvis the once. It can be fairly difficult, and if some people are going for the car and others going for the boat, it might be quite difficult to track them all down. Now, these guys are probably going to be armed with, yep, firecrackers. Just going to stun me, so that gives them plenty of time to all each get out of the window. Damn you, counselors. I might be able to still get a swing in. Yes, I did. I'll still weaken her, which, yeah, can't go wrong with that. But now I'm stuck indoors. I'm not going to start battering the doors down. I'm going to teleport outside and hope to catch some of them off guard. Quick sensibility, and there's one of them now. Now I do have my third ability now, which is like a shift mode. Basically allows me to fly around the map. It's like Evil Dead kind of vision. But because she's wounded and pretty close, I don't need to use it right now. Just going to chase her down. I am particularly looking for the counselor that was running around with the fuel. Oh, she tried to swing. Oh, I managed to grab her. So now I have my choices of 4 different executions. For this one, a nice swift little jaw rip. Now when I am playing as Jason and not recording a review, I will often taunt the counselors as well, as I said, with the voice proximity. When you get close to them, they will, you can taunt them, and sometimes, you know, counselors will be like, please Jason, don't kill me, and that's where, again, the fun sort of comes in, where you can be like, okay, sing this song to me. And, you know, and if they sing the song, you could be like, okay, well, I'll kill you last. And you might leave them. Or you might be like, no, you know, you fumbled your words, wasn't good enough, and come in and kill them. You know, I've heard Jasons that are trying to sell insurance at the door. You know, I've had the Mormons at the door. You know, it all comes down to the communication. And sort of people's sense of humor. And a lot of the people playing this game, I've seldom come across players that are unaware of the Friday the 13th legacy and series of films. Okay, I'm just going to quickly shift here. Boom. Ah! Didn't quite grab her. And so, she right there, she's the nerdy girl. She's the one who's very good at repairing things and fixing things up. She's also not too bad on her feet. She can get away quite quickly. I think she's going all the way around the building. Now I have my final ability, which is stalk mode. It's probably one of my favourites because what it does is it turns the music off, which can lead the counsellors into a false sense of security, thinking that maybe, just maybe, you've gone. But with this Jason, it's a quick cooldown, and I can see that they're still hiding in there, and they're teabagging the sofa. I think they're taunting me. So that's it. It's time to break the door in. Or they're glitching again. I've had enough of glitchers. And like I said, the company is working on getting rid of glitchers. They are fixing it. It will happen. And I can still grab you. Excellent. Okay. For trying to get up there, I think we're just gonna swift choke out. Now, the counselor I'm killing right now, she's one of my other favourite counsellors to play as because she's pretty smart, she's high on the repair skill, and she's also pretty good on composure and on stamina and speed, so she can get around, repair. She's useless in combat. That's her thing. She's not going to do too much damage.
Yeah.
But also I do...
Beautiful mother.
Wow, use my sensibility, and there's somebody still in here hiding. They could be in this cabinet. Let's find out. No. Okay, they may be in another cabinet or hiding in a bed. It's a pretty lame thing to do. There are people, I mean, it's a valid strategy to hide, you know, in a hiding spot the entire match because there are perks which enable you to hide even better. Is this just... Alright, it's throwing me off now. I'm going to leave this house and maybe come back. And hunt somebody else down. So I mean, it's a valid, you know, strategy to hide the entire 20 minutes out. But it's usually best to do when Jason's either close by or hunting you down. You might just want to, you know, lay low and hope that he goes away. And I sometimes just close my eyes and just go, Jason can't see me, and you know, and try and trick him. But again, if you're talking down the headset, Jason's going to hear it as he gets closer to you, so often not you'll mute your mic and make yourself scarce. So there are counsellors either at the other side. I think they're right outside. What are they doing? What are they doing? Oh, did I just get shot at? I think I heard the shotgun, but it missed. Okay, nerdy girl. I'm going to track you down. So yeah, for each one of the counsellors, there are lots of different statistics. There's the repair one for quick repairs. God damn it, these counsellors are giving Jason the runaround. I'm not having any more of this. I'm going to put trap here. They have composure, luck, repair, speed, stamina, stealth, and strength. And each one of the counsellors has, you know, variations of those perks, which it depends on your playstyle. It depends whether you want to be someone who can just run, you know, is not going to be able to repair anything, but you can at least carry stuff very quickly to the 2-seater, the 4-seater, or the boat, and then communicate with the other counsellors and tell them where you are. Now, obviously, I've just heard the trapper sign go off. I know I've dropped traps around here, but which one did I get? Where is he? Could be this one over here who's just hiding there. Ah, I grabbed too soon. And I still managed to get her. Is there a... Okay, and there we go. There's the use of the pocket knife, which is... I think there's up to like 3 that spawned on every map randomly in a different drawer or cabinet anywhere on the map. And as you can see, it's really useful for screwing with Jason. You know, stab him in the neck and he comes disorientated. You sort of lose a bit of control of the camera. Okay, here we go. Evil Dead style. Boom. I got very good sometimes at just coming straight out of that stance and just being able to grab immediately. And a lot of people have called bullshit on it. And, you know, they get quite upset when you just appear out of nowhere and grab a counselor and execute them instantly. It's, you know, but that's because you kind of get practiced at it. And, you know, and then some counselors are good at knowing the moment that Jason's done his shift ability to run towards where he just come from, because it's the best way to probably avoid being caught out. Okay, so now she's hiding in the bathroom and there's nowhere for her to go. So it should be a swift death for her unless she can get an attack off, which she didn't, and she had a pocket knife, which she also doesn't. And wow, the first time I get a toilet execution. Brilliant. There is an achievement, a PhD in murder, which is to kill everyone in every kind of way possible. And it's kind of bugged out and bounced out of the toilet, which is a shame. And there's the character from the intro cinematic, who, as I said, is a character from one of the Friday the 13th games. One of only 2 characters, as I said, Tommy Jarvis, who was sort of in several Friday the 13th movies, and they even got the voice actor to return to reprise Tommy Jarvis, which is really, really cool. Even cooler is that they also got Kane Hodder involved. Kane Hodder, I believe, played Jason from Friday the 13th 7, 8, 9, and 10. And he's considered everyone's real favourite Jason. And he at least got to... That guy just jumped through the window, so he's taken damage. Is considered everyone's favourite Jason. And so it's great that he got to play every Jason that there is. And I'm guessing he will mocap maybe future DLC Jasons. A lot of fans are asking for Pamela Voorhees to be a killer in the game, which is a great idea. You know, the game's called Friday the 13th. You know, it's not called Part 1, but it would be great to have Pamela, the original killer, in the game at least. Okay, so another pocket knife. There has been the rare occurrence where I've actually managed to, in one game only out of the many that I've played, have all 3 pocket knives in my inventory, which doesn't happen very often at all. So as the counsellors, as you've heard me say, there are sort of several ways to escape. I think I just heard my trap go off. It's either that or they used a pocket knife to disarm the trap so that it wouldn't kill them. And so, as I said, there's several vehicles. There's always a 4-seater, and then it either changes to whether it'll be the 2-seater or a boat. I'm looking again for an environmental kill. There isn't one here, so I'm just going to break this guy's legs. I like to break this guy's legs because he's one of the fastest characters in the game, so karmic. And in order to get those vehicles repaired, you'll need to find the battery, the gas tank, and then the car keys. Once all of those have been put in the car, anyone can then drive the car. The 4-seater, obviously, 4 survivors can escape at once. 2-seater, only 2. And then there's also a boat, which is only 2. There is another way, and that is to find, as you heard me say, the fuse, put in the fuse box and call the cops. Then after 5 minutes have elapsed, the police will turn up at one of 2 exits. And then it's a case of just running to that exit and hoping Jason's not patrolling it, which if you're Jason, you'll know which exit it is. You'll patrol it, either put some traps or hunt them down. But if the counsellors have weapons, firecrackers and knives, it's going to be pretty difficult to stop them. So it looks like there's another counsellor hiding pretty close to this car, maybe with the keys, hoping that I'll go away after this kill. Is that you, Jarvis? Is that you? What are you doing? You just fall into your own trap. That's such a shame. Yeah, so I highly recommend this game. You know, I highly recommended this game during all of its bugs, all of its glitches, and all of its problems, because the fun I was having just far surpassed the problems. Getting into a team with random players that all love the game, all getting invested and involved in it, is great. The camaraderie you build up when you escape with each other, then when you're hunting each other down, is... I've not had it in another video game. It was the sort of feature that I hoped for in like some of the Alien vs Predator games. And it was something that we would set up, like, you know, 5 Marines and 1 alien. And in this game, it's Jason and 7 counselors. I was hoping Alien Isolation would have some sort of feature like that. But it didn't. And this game has it. This game has a big competitor right now. Is it like Dead by Daylight or something, where they have like Jason as a character, Mike Myers, you know, the Halloween characters, and they're getting loads more serial killers in there, which is fine. But it is only 4 survivors against the 1, and for me it looked like just repair the generators to escape the game. And even though it has its graphics and its gore and it ran a lot better than this game, this is the one that I do recommend. This is the one that I've had more fun with. I've enjoyed it despite its problems, and all of those glitches and bugs are being worked out and patches are coming all the time. There is the campaign mode, which is not in the game yet, which is coming, and I'm hoping it's free content. I'm hoping it's free. It was a stretch goal that they perhaps didn't reach, but with the amount of sales that they've got, which was the excuse they had for the servers being bad, you know, I'm expecting even more maps, more Jasons, where everyone is asking for Jason X. We need Jason X in the game. He might be overpowered, but you know, Savini Jason, who is exclusive to the backers and the Kickstarters of the game. You know, more Jasons. Whether it's paid content, I would like a lot more free content. But it's fine. We'll see what they do with that. I'm still going to recommend the game, and I will probably purchase extra content if they put it in there if I think it's of value, because I'm hoping the player base stays alive for this game, because I found it hard to convince actual friends to get this game. I know Ian will eventually get the game, but the game will live and die by its player base, and so its players need to enjoy the game together, and we need to get rid of the glitchers, and we need to get rid of the verbal abusers, and I have to say it, we need to get the kids off this game. Now, it baffles me when I come across 11-year-olds playing this game. You know, and so yeah, we call them the squeakers, and they've got to go. We've got to find a way to get rid of them. But for a 7v1 multiplayer survival horror game, this I highly recommend. With all the extra content that's coming, the fixes that's coming, this is the most fun I've had this year playing a video game. I, hands down, recommend the game. Yeah. There is one other gripe that I will have right now, and it's these goddamn Pamela tapes. They are lore, and the tapes are supposed to be police recordings documenting the investigation after Jason's disappearance or his death, whether they found the body or not. Interviews with the mother and the counselors and the police officers, which I think is fascinating, and I refuse to go on YouTube and listen to them. I've been trying to find these tapes, which spawn randomly on any given map, and there's only ever going to be one of them, so there's like a 0.0001% chance you'll find one. And the developers have been very quiet about how you find them. And it's quite frustrating that people have reported mainly finding them on Fridays. That it seems like their drop chance is a lot higher on a Friday. I play the game as well on Fridays, and I've still not found one. I'm almost, level 50 in this game, and I still haven't found one yet. So it's a little bit frustrating. So I hope maybe it's patched so that the drop rate is a little bit higher. So yeah, definitely recommend the game. So with that, I just want to say thanks for watching, thanks for listening. We're back next Friday with another video game. Of course, film reviews on Thursdays. You can find us on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Patreon. Thanks everyone. See you next time.